Hey everyone, how's it going? So everybody's talking about South Park right now and what South Park's doing and the whole, them making fun of Trump in a very, very lazy 10-year-old way. You know what I mean? Where everyone talks about how small Trump's junk is, how predictable every single joke that's going to be coming out of their mouths. And it's annoying. What if I told you that there's another series, of course, that just came back that doesn't do that, shockingly? Here's the thing, guys. If you haven't watched the new season of King of the Hill yet, I'm here to actually white pill you guys. It's kind of nice. Seriously, go check out the new season of King of the Hill. You will not regret it. I can promise you that. So far, I've only seen the first episode, but I am going to get into heavy spoilers here. So if you guys do not want to see any spoilers at all about the first episode, possibly a little bit more, I might be spoiling a little bit more for myself here. But for real, pause the video, go watch at least the first episode, then come back, okay? We're getting into the spoilers right now. So I expected Bobby to be some, very Fred Durst-like, I guess you could say. I expected Hank himself to be a more left-leaning older man that has some right-leaning tendencies. Because I saw, obviously, it was like, what, Season 9, Season 10, Hank Hill's driving by the border wall, and he's talking about how it's a shame that there's a wall there because just so many good people are trying to come into America. And it's like, that you're taking the wrong take from this, okay? There's insane gang members on the other side of that wall, too. The biggest amount of, the most amount of gang members probably in the world reside within Mexico all the way down to South America. Probably more than any other country in the world, just about. We don't want them coming into the country. And we're not able to tell who is who because none of them are documented in our systems. And we're not going to go out of our way to document literally over 1 billion people between Mexico to South America. That would just not be possible to do. Our infrastructure cannot handle that. So therefore, we put a wall up, we put a door in the wall, we let some people come through, we vet them, and we decide whether they stay or go. It's really that simple. But that's, obviously not the way that Hank Hill saw it. I don't know if that was executives that made that call, or if it was Mike Judge himself. But the deal is Hank is actually quite right-wing in these episodes. And when I first saw it, they were introducing him. He literally had been in Saudi Arabia for years, running some propane sales over there. Doing a really, really, apparently, I don't know if he's, really wealthy or not, but I would imagine when you go overseas, you make quite a bit more money. I mean, I had a buddy whose dad went overseas a lot and made a lot of really good money, working oil and stuff like that. And so I would imagine that, you're probably making really good money selling propane overseas, which is interesting that you'd be a propane salesman over in Saudi Arabia. Not exactly the line of work I would have expected for Saudi Arabia, but I guess somebody's got to do that, right? Somebody's got to sell propane over there. Somebody's got to have some connections. I don't know. Maybe they make their own propane over there, but at the same time, do they really need propane over in Saudi Arabia? I don't know. That's not something I've ever really thought about. So anyway, they come back to America. Hadn't been there for a long time. And they come back to see that their old neighborhood has been completely changed with regulations and no left turns and whatnot on their streets. Hank's upset that he has to spend literally a mile extra's worth of gas to not make an illegal left turn because, Hank doesn't break laws. So anyway, they get back. They see Bill Dotrieve in his house. He calls it his hole, but it's just the window. He couldn't remember the name of it. He's super duper obese and stuck in bed. Hadn't been out of bed in years. So that was interesting. Dale Gribble comes out as just, I don't know if he's right wing or if he's just in general conspiracy theorist to where you can't even tell at this point. And I think that's kind of the joke. And it kind of gets on, and Hank's more more right wing than I expected him to be, like I said. So you get over here, Hank's on his way back from Dallas-Fort Worth airport, and he sees these two bathrooms and cannot make a decision at all. And one guy comes in, he goes, either was good for you, man. Whichever one you want to go into. And he's like, just disgusted by it for the most part. Based. You know what I mean? And then, you know, I mean, you kind of see how everyone looks. Bobby, he is unbelievably chill. Unbelievably chill. Peggy is as full of crap as ever, even more so. Actually, unbearably so. It's funny because she thinks she could speak Arabic and obviously can't. But Bobby is actually bilingual, at least to some degree. So he owns his own restaurant. He's 21, owns his own restaurant, and is speaking, I can't remember if he was speaking Spanish. Yeah, I think he was speaking Spanish to one of his workers in his restaurant. And they obviously understood him very fluently. So it's kind of a joke that Bobby is the combination of both of these guys. He's very, very chill, down to earth. He's not his normal, goofy, antic awkwardness at all. In fact, he's incredibly smooth. And he seems to be very much centrist. It was actually quite surprising. So he ends up... yeah. The boy here with the mask. Let me get rid of myself. I'll just get this real quick. The boy has a mask, and they kind of make fun of him. They're like... And he's like, oh, he's traumatized. And they're like, what the heck is this garbage? But anyway, so... Let's get into this, because I'll tell you about the whole restaurant experience with Bobby. It's kind of wild, and really gave me some serious respect for Mike Judge here. At least in this first episode. We'll see how it keeps going, right? Anyway, a lot has changed in Ireland since we last saw Hank, Peggy, and Bobby Hill on King of the Hill. The trailer for the show's revival dropped online Thursday, July 10th, and is chock full of hilarious moments of Hank, Mike Judge, coming to grips with modern society after returning home to find their fictional Texas town. World has changed, Dad. Bobby, I guess she still voices him. I guess I didn't really think about that. She did a good job on making his voice deeper. Warns at beginning of the trailer, setting the stage for what's to come. Okay. Oh, they're talking about the trailer here. They're not even reviewing, like, the actual show. It's kind of wild. Trailer shows Hank encountering things like video conferencing and gender-inclusive bathrooms and rideshare services. We see Hank back in the U.S., after working a propane job in Saudi Arabia, clad in a robe while holding his coffee on a video call, and he doesn't seem pleased. I don't know how to kick someone's hey over Zoom, but I'll figure it out, he says. In another scene set, oh my god, and the Uber driver that they got was, oh my, it was so good. In another scene set at a restaurant, Hank is indecisively frozen as he tries to figure out which restroom to use with another patron. When another patron tells him not to worry, that they're both all gender. We are all gender, he later asks Peggy, from the safety of the car. Speaking of cars, hey, yeah, they get, I guess they call it a rideshare driver? Really? It was an Uber. It's funny, because Hank is pretty insufferable in the drive. Hank and Peggy both are insufferable in the drive back. So, they rate him 4 stars. He's like, oh, I'm going to give you 4 stars, so you have something to work up to. And then the guy gives Hank 2 stars as a rider. And, it was just a funny interaction. So anyway, Bobby Hill owns his own restaurant, 21 years old. It is a sushi restaurant, and I'm sure, I don't remember them mentioning, I don't think he mentioned anything about, like, cultural appropriation or anything like that, but he goes up to a group of college kids at their table, and they're talking with them, and they're like, hey, that's really cool that you got this going on, and you own your own restaurant. That's wild. And he's like, yeah. He's like, I'm here 24/7 pretty much, cleaning up, cooking, all that stuff. His restaurant is his baby. And at the end of the day, they're telling him, like, well, so when are you going to go to college? And he goes, college? I own my own restaurant. And he's like, this is it. I know what I want to do. I want to do this for the rest of my life. He's a chef, very skilled chef. Super cool. Man, they gave Bobby kind of everything. And they gave him the most normal American perspective. And he's like, I don't need college. And the kids start making fun of him. And they kind of treat him like he's a loser. And he just brushes it off. He's like, yeah, whatever, guys, you know, it's all good. And I guess his coolness of brushing it all off got one of the girls to like him. So she invites him to the party. He shows up after cleaning up his restaurant somewhat. He was going to just blow off cleaning his restaurant, but then, you know, responsibility kicked in. He goes, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and do it. Takes care of his responsibilities first, like a responsible adult. Then he goes to the party. And then the girl gets with them, and they end up, you know, doing some stuff in their bed later. To which he accidentally butt dials Peggy, and Peggy's completely oblivious and hangs up on it. But she could hear everything going on, but again, they're oblivious. So it was a kind of a funny joke. At the end of that, though, she kind of reveals to Bobby that, hey, this is a one-time thing only. And he's clearly disappointed about it. But he goes, whatever, and leaves, super cool about it. So you could tell that Bobby sees all these changes around him, doesn't necessarily really like the changes, but he's going with the flow. And he's like, it is what it is. And he's making the best out of it. I think it was pretty good. But anyway, so let's see here. Bobby is also seen trying to help educate his dad on one of the hip things he's been missing out on, craft beer. I don't remember that part. Nowadays, beer is fruitier, bolder, and more sturdy, Bobby says, sharing a brew with his dad. Hank isn't having it, though, and answers, I've been drinking beer for 40 years, and I've never wished once that it tasted more like fruit. Peggy also dealing with her son being a man now, as Hank tells her Bobby wants to bring a girl over for... Oh, this must be like a different episode. Okay. So... I guess that's part of the thing in here. And apparently this happens. Now, they got one thing wrong. Native Americans don't bald. That's just, we get gray hair. We get very, very gray. And gray early on. I'm not even 35 yet. I will probably have a full head of gray hair by the age of 35. I'm not even kidding. I didn't have all these gray hairs here last year. It's so bad. Like on the side, my sides are almost white. It's ridiculous. I say gray hair. At least they're white. I'd rather it be white than gray anyway. In general. But yeah, just the way it is. But they're giving him kind of a receding hairline, which is a bit odd to say the least. But anyway, so getting down to it, season 4. Yeah. So I don't know if I love it. Glad to have it back. This is 28 days ago. Okay. I don't see anybody complaining about this yet. I think it's been swept under the rug by SouthPark, and that's very disappointing. Very, very disappointing. I feel like I may be forgetting a few details from the show. There were a lot of really funny interactions. Oh, they have a black guy that ended up moving in to Khan's place. They moved out. I don't know when they moved out. They probably moved out early on or something. And, what ended up happening, for the most part, is Dale ended up becoming mayor, and he's crazy. And apparently the black guy voted for him. So, he's definitely not your left-wing black dude at all. He seems to be pretty based, has a job, well put together, just a normal family dude that they hang out with. And obviously they don't treat him any differently at all. So it seems Mike Judge is pretty well tired of the left wing, I would guess, by the way he's writing his show. So mark my words here, guys. For sure, 100%, we're going to see this show probably get a lot of left-wing complaints. I haven't seen any yet, but I imagine we're probably going to be seeing it here in the near future. Thank you all so much for watching. Definitely check it out. Let me know what you guys thought of the new King of the Hill, and I'll see you guys here in the next one. Later.